The Acolyte, episode 4, where there's really only one thing everyone can agree on.
This is arguably the gayest Star Wars.
This episode is farcical in the extreme. We actually go from this in the recap
2 Jedi to kill after Torben. We'll kill one of them without a weapon and please the Master.
to this for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
I don't need to kill a Jedi without a weapon. I don't need to keep this deal. What?
And we get so many hints that Ezra Miller is the Sith.
It's impossible.
It's not impossible.
That at this point, if he isn't, they're just deliberately lying to you so they can have a twist come out of nowhere, which is still perfectly possible, because these people understand absolutely nothing about writing or Star Wars lore when they're putting a guy into the show who isn't born yet.
What are people gonna say to defend this? Why is Kiani Mundi here? He's not supposed to be here. Man, it's no man. You went the same guy. No.
Mundi was granted an exception to be married because of his species' low birth rate and had 5 wives. Although when your head is shaped like that, I think we can all see the appeal.
I became a total slag.
Multifunctional. The Acolyte is set in 132 BBY, and he was born in 93. Whoops. The rerun even includes footage of the Wookiee, which is useful because that's all he's gonna do. At the end of episode 2, their 2-part launch, he was the cliffhanger. Oh, you're gonna get to see a Wookie Jedi! That cliffhanger was so big, they kept it going for 2 episodes, only for him never to do anything. I don't think a group of people have been that disappointed since a coven of witches travelled to a different planet, only to find out there wasn't any men there. Who are we gonna make sandwiches for now? This is insane! It also begs the question, what is this from the trailer? Obviously, it's from the flashback, but we see him pulling his lightsaber and attacking other Jedi. There is no way they're good enough writers to make this make sense by the end, I'm telling you. But as you can see, the Wookiee planet is massive. It's just one huge forest across the entire world. They've got to track him down in that. Oh, I tell a lie, we do see the Wookiee doing something right at the start. Yeah, he walked up to his door again, like the last time we saw him. We've paid a lot of money for this set. We're gonna use it twice, I tell you. But he's painted symbols. Are those the symbols of the witches? No, it's a real question. I have no idea. I don't pay much attention to the marks on the faces of children. I don't work in Hollywood. Over to the Padawans training, and I'm not really sure exactly what for. Like, what are we doing, folks? When I saw that, only one clip came into my mind. They wouldn't stand a chance.
Keep each movement tight, yet subtle.
I'm sorry? Subtle? Did you see what they just did? I'm so subtle. That's why I did a spin. Also, why are we allowing a ginger to be a Jedi? I know this show's all about inclusion, but come on, there are limits. The Jedi are supposed to be the good guys. They at least need a soul.
Diminish areas of vulnerability.
Oh, sorry. Would now be a bad time to point out that she's vulnerable. Diminish your areas of vulnerability. Don't turn your back on them, for God's sake.
Maximize your defenses without need to strike.
Are you just saying things? This is the equivalent of a boxing coach going, just hit him, right? Hit him. Keep hitting him in the face. Don't get hit in the face yourself. If you keep punching in the face, you'll win. Maximize your defenses is basically going, get good, scrub. What was that for?
It's how for now.
That's how. For now.
How can you make shoes out of paper?
I forgot about that show. Destroyed my childhood when they said something that I knew was lying to me. After they've been training, though, obviously, very messy room. Needs a clean.
Before you leave.
Osha.
You've come to mop the floors again, darling. That's so nice of you. We've got a bucket for you to do a handstand in and everything.
I came to say goodbye.
We repaired engines together. And stretched. Oh, look, she's got the horns that Osha should have, given her mother.
You're not staying? I've done what I needed to do.
I came, I saw, I ruined Star Wars.
Thank you. For what?
Showing me your minge. Do you think she has to wear makeup to hide the marks on her face? As every time she turns around, she just whips herself. Oh no! It's a cat of 1700 tails!
For helping me find my sister.
You mean the evil one?
Prove my innocence.
No, I'm with her.
For what?
Your Jedi Master did all that. She just tagged along for a bit.
I may never have known for certain I was alive. And thanks to you, I've seen her with my own eyes.
And then I tried to shoot her in the head. Thank you. Now I've found that my sister's evil. It's a cause for celebration, folks.
I mean, you must be curious after all this time.
She is curious. Bi-curious. But she's like, she's the Jedi's problem now. I mean, she always was. She was never your problem. In fact, so far, if we just removed you from the story, it goes along exactly the same way. You're a literally pointless character, except for one thing.
Tell me you'll miss me.
You have a lightsaber and we're alone in this room.
I think you and I should go outside. Fast favor.
I think we can come up with some uses for it.
I didn't become a little bit of a slag. I became a total slag.
It's like, you care about me. I know she's evil and a Sith, but you still care about her for some reason.
Nobody understands why.
Someone must find May before she does any more harm, but it's not me. I can't.
Okay, that sounds very definitive. Never going to happen.
Did you say goodbye to him? Caused him enough trouble.
Didn't even say goodbye to a master.
It's just a bloke, though. I'm not interested in them.
A little bit of a slag.
Instead I came to talk to this person that I barely know and just commit workplace harassment with them. Evil Mop and Ezra Miller, though, are already on the Wookiee planet.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I wouldn't just take off.
You have no idea where you're going. I don't know if you've noticed, love, but we've landed on a planet. They're pretty big.
No, I can just walk in a direction.
Gofar is massively uncharted.
And you have no idea where you're going.
The hunters won't set foot in these forests.
You have.
Yes.
Oh, he just kicks stuff over.
He's really clumsy. He's like Clark Kent. Although this would be like if Clark Kent was telling stories about how he saved the world yesterday and people didn't put it together. I'm really clumsy, except I came to this dangerous forest that nobody else dares enter.
You went in there for my master.
No.
Because I am your master.
I risked my life to help you.
Or is he her father? I swear, if he isn't a master, this is the worst bit of writing in the show.
But it goes, your sister being alive doesn't change anything. You still need to kill the Wookiee.
You need to kill the Wookiee. You made a deal.
How do you know about the deal? Why are you so concerned about it? And why are you so concerned that she follows through with it? Unless she made a deal with you.
Okay. Follow me.
Wait, that's in the opposite direction than she was going earlier. She genuinely was just going to walk off into the middle of a forest on an entire planet and hope that she found him. She has the brains of a mop as well as looking like one. Here we are with the guy who isn't born yet. Hey, he's looking good for his age.
But they're talking about May. She is weak. Her emotions guide her.
But weak. Her emotions guide her every choice in combat.
This is farcical. Even if they think the Sith don't exist at this time, they still remember what the Sith were. They knew the Sith were guided by their emotions. They wouldn't equate emotion with weakness. It's just emotion, not with the Jedi.
And they're like, yes, well, she has been trained. Who's trained her? She doesn't know.
An apprentice who doesn't know their master. It's absurd.
Not as absurd as you existing before you've been born, mate. You might be the ugliest baby ever seen. Also, how absurd is it? Every time I've met this person, they were wearing a mask. Sure, it's unusual, but it's not.
I can't believe that's happened.
Could this be a splinter order or something worse?
Like a Sith. As we do know the Sith exist. We even have proof that they know the Sith exist, even after all this time. Because in the prequels, he says,
the Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
So if he knew what the name of the Sith was then, he knows it now. Assuming he was born.
This girl could become a major threat.
She's not disciplined.
What's that got to do with it? She's killed 2 of you. Well, 1.5. But if she's wiped out a Jedi Master, she's already a threat.
Yet she eluded you.
That's your response?
She could become a threat. She isn't disciplined. Well, you know, she lost you in a dust cloud.
Not, she killed a Jedi Master. She's already beaten one of us in combat. Your priorities, love.
And she killed 2 Jedi Masters.
Wait, you did say that came second? She's not a threat. You've forgotten that dust cloud, haven't you? Oh, and she did kill 2 Jedi Masters. Yeah, just throw that in afterwards. Don't eat that cake, you'll get fat. And it's poisoned. Start with the important thing first. So we get the images of the 3 Jedi, and helpfully, they've color-coded them so we know which one is alive, just in case you forgot.
The May targeted these 3.
4, including you, Sol.
What? No, Sol tracked her down. Sol was the one that wanted to fight her.
I will confront her.
I must face her alone.
It even said in the episode,
He wants to make sure he only fights her alone.
she didn't have a choice. Now you're making assumptions based off his actions that just happen to be correct.
4 Jedi stationed on her home planet when she was a child. How odd.
But it's also a coincidence because he was the one that attacked her.
Turns up all these years later, trained by one of our own.
You think a Jedi taught her?
You have no idea if a Jedi taught it. It could have been literally anybody. It could have been Bob the Builder. He wasn't born yet either, but it doesn't seem to stop the rest of the characters.
You think a Jedi taught her?
Even a hologram can tell me that.
What do you mean a How? Nobody else thinks it, but I've got hologram sense.
Nobody knows who trained her.
That hologram tells me it was a Jedi. Or a Sith. I think she's like Samson. Her intelligence was in her hair. But like, we should tell the High Council. We can't do that. They might have to tell the Senate. I am the Senate. Okay, they didn't do that, but I'm surprised they didn't do that. Managed to exercise some restraint. So she's like, we need to go out and handle it ourselves. Find out who trained her. So she turns to the woman, obviously, and goes, you must go and extract the Wookiee. I can only trust this mission to somebody who doesn't have dangly bits.
And if she doesn't come peacefully?
Not expecting it to come to that.
Why not? She's killed 2 Jedi Masters, and now you think when you just go, come with us, you'll be okay. I wasn't going to do any, Tommy, but I can't resist your temptational charms.
This meeting is adjourned.
This meeting is retarded. As she leaves, though, the Master follows her.
Why didn't you tell me about this?
Tell you about what? The meeting? You were there, love. Have you forgotten?
Why didn't you tell me there was a chance this poor girl survived?
He did. As soon as he knew, he just told you.
I did, as soon as I knew.
Why didn't you tell me she was alive? I didn't know.
If you think he's lying to you, read his mind.
But I saw her fall. No one could have survived that.
We need to recap this conversation. This conversation is stupid.
It's literally, why didn't you tell me? I did, as soon as I knew. Yeah, but why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't know.
I know he doesn't know much English, love, but you seem to be trying to rub it in. Instead, he wants to be the one that goes to the Wookiee planet and she's like, whoa,
I don't know about that.
What happens if your massive balls weigh down the ship?
Personal connection with her and her sister is not a benefit here.
Yes, it is. You said you didn't want it to come to a fight. The only way you're going to avoid that is a personal connection. Even you're going to contradict that in a minute. Instead, she starts looking.
I could see into the Force. I think May's part of a grander plan. Maybe it's got to do with the thread and all the witches.
Something to tip the scale.
The scale's into where? The Sith. Earlier in the meeting, all of you said didn't exist.
Do we have something she wants?
And he's like, yes. Do you know what it is?
Personal connection with her and her sister is not a benefit here.
It's a personal connection between her and her sister, which you said wasn't an advantage here.
Do you have something she wants?
Yes, a personal connection, actually. You know, that thing you crapped on at the start of this meeting. You dumb cow. It's just Leslye Headland humiliating her wife. Congratulations.
I've already booked the U-Haul.
How do you kill a Jedi without a weapon?
Oh, I forgot about this. This is peak our story makes no sense, so if we just say it out loud in the show, that makes it all better. Because he explains the problem with it.
You engage unarmed, but can use their saber?
What? You can't use a weapon, so you take their weapon and use it, and that makes it better, and as if you haven't killed them with a weapon. Still using a pissing weapon. I travelled across America without a car.
You mean you walked it?
No, I stole somebody else's car.
You still used the car though, didn't you, you stupid twat?
If you disarm them? Or is that cheating?
Of course it's cheating. It goes against the rules of literally what you've just said, you moron. I can only assume that if he is the master, this is getting her to see that the rules don't actually make sense.
I literally gave you something so stupid, you should have immediately thought that was bullshit.
Unfortunately, she doesn't keep her IQ in her hair. We're still trying to find out where she keeps it, actually. But instead, he's asking, what's your plan for the Wookiee? Because you keep failing before.
I didn't fail. I killed Indara, and I
In a way that wouldn't have worked in real life.
killed Torben.
No, you didn't. Torben did that to himself. Torben was more like,
I need to make room for a different checkbox. I'm taking up vital time in the script, so I'm checking my privilege.
But you killed them your way. You have to kill the Wookiee without a weapon.
but you just said they could steal his lightsaber, which is a weapon.
Your master wants
What kind
you
of deal
to...
did you make with him?
I love that, though. Your master wants you to. I'm desperately trying to explain it to you, but you're too thick to understand it as I'm trying to tell you, and then you interrupt me. You arrogant cow. What did they say in Doctor Who? It was the best line of the series.
My dear, you should learn to be admired in silence.
What you asked him, what deal did you make with the master? I didn't make a deal with him. I more kind of owe him.
You know how he is? He collects people.
Like a cult leader. I'm still not writing out that the villain is one of the mums. I'm just saying if it is, it's really bad writing. Because they're clearly setting him up to be it. And they've made it so obvious it's him that if it isn't, at this point it's just farcical.
I've never seen his face. Have you?
You know I haven't.
I've never seen a mirror before.
You know I haven't. Oh, look.
Oh look, I'm changing the topic over there by pointing at the green screen. You like the volume, don't you? Looks really realistic. They're not clearly popping off the background here. Worst thing is, you could have just filmed this on a hill. Would have been fine.
Can't believe my sister's Jedi scum.
Very believable, May. I really hate donuts. Yeah, chubby little bat.
What was she like when you spoke to her?
I hate her. Can you tell me some more about her, please?
Well, he says, no, she seems over her head, but she was really fond of that Jedi Master. What was his name? Sol? You know, the one she can't even be bothered to say goodbye to. She was really close to him.
Anyways, let's go.
Someone's taking advantage of her. Like I wasn't the hairdressers. So they go for a walk down a hill that actually exists. I'm as surprised as you are. But oh, she gets stopped by Sol. We know it's Sol because...
Sol.
Thanks, love. I forgot his name. I never could have worked out who it was by his face. He jumped straight in, though. I need your help. I need you to come with me on this mission to get May.
You want me to rejoin the Jedi?
Hold on, love. I'm not going that far. I said I needed your help. I don't know if you remember, love, but you're the one who left the Jedi. We know, because in the first episode, you said...
Leaving the Jedi was my decision.
If you don't want to be in the Jedi, why would I come along and go, I need you in the Jedi? Despite what the show says, they don't force people to join.
Someone must find May before she does any more harm, but it's not me. I can't. You want me to rejoin the Jedi?
Not officially.
I want you to be one of those unofficial, like a Sith.
You need me so you can get to her.
Yes, I also need you so I can fire you out of a cannon. And he says, I need you. When I told May you were alive, she suffered. Her eyes suffered. And you think that's a good thing, do you, Mr. Jedi? Mr. You shouldn't have familiar bonds because they'll turn you to the dark side. Mr. should be emotionally neutral and like, no, she suffered. I need to bring you with me so she suffers some more.
She became a different person. If you come.
I think you're moving a little bit fast there, mate. This isn't Doctor Who.
Come.
Okay, maybe that's not too fast for this show after all.
If you come, they will allow us both to go.
I think you two are going to need a chaperone. But I have to say, that is a weird requirement even for the Jedi.
Can I fly away with you?
You know what you've got to do first. That engineering droid better have a vibrate function.
I don't want May to get hurt. I know you don't either.
Pretty evil manipulation, by the way. Oh, we're going to go and capture your evil Sith sister. But I need you to come with me because I don't want her to get hurt. Nice identical twin you've got there. Be a shame if something happened to her. And it will if you don't come with me. Blackmail.
She's a murderer.
Based. I don't want her to get hurt. Yeah, but she's a murderer though, isn't she? I don't care. I'm pissing off over there.
But she is still your family.
What's that got to do with anything? That guy's Jack the Ripper. Yeah, but he is your brother, so give him what he pissing deserves. The concept of justice isn't altered by familial relations. However you spin it, she killed 2 Jedi Masters. Must be held accountable for those actions.
Like, well, she is your sister, though. We'll let her off.
Just like we let that alchemist off that made the poison for our friend.
Fine.
What? She's a murderer. She's your sister. Oh, okay then. This was written by an evil person.
The Jedi are evil.
No, the writers are. There's a difference.
Doesn't matter what she's done. She's your sister.
I'm not wearing that civilian robe.
Someone get this wench a mirror. A robe isn't the most embarrassing thing about you. But they say the Order were the ones that placed him on this forest planet alone for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
But no one has heard from him in over a year.
Put him on a pissing forest on his own. I'd be pissed off and not talk to you as well. The only thing he's got for company are insects that want to kill him. It's like living in Portland. But then we get a pointless scene. I don't even know why. We get this little gremlin sniffing the droid for some reason. He's doing absolutely nothing to him. What? It's an engineering droid. It's not going to have water in it, is it? It's definitely going to be some kind of chemical that we've just sprayed in the creature's eyes. Don't apologise. Pull his head off. You did it before. So after ruining the creature's ability to smell, which is the only reason it was brought along in the first place.
What's that?
How? Weirdest thing on the ship.
This puzzle is he or they?
No, he. If it's not a he, what's it gonna be? I know this is a complex question for you. What are you? Okay, this is Star Wars. Maybe it's a new thing. I think we can all agree there's only one of him. I know everyone thinks that the next generation is thicker than they were, but I have living proof.
Is he with us?
With us? It's on your pissing ship, love. Who else is it gonna be with?
Now, this is a magic trick, isn't it? You never get them right.
Any questions?
Yeah. Why do dogs have wet noses?
How does a dog keep its cool?
Why don't you have 2 sets of robes? What did Leslye Headland do when she was a PA? But we land on the forest planet in a random location. They have no idea where the Wookiee is on the planet. If you're after me, picked a random location and ended up in South America, I'm just saying I'm going to be hard to track down. That doesn't stop them though, as they have absolutely no idea where he is. Luckily though, they do have a cunning strategy to find him.
We're looking for a Wookiee. He's big and hairy.
Yep, that's about the quality of plan I'd expect from you, love. Another random scene where Yoda's like, you're going to need to hand that blaster over. I'm not going to hand it over. You need to hand it over.
Afraid I'm going to have to insist that you hand it over.
Luckily, at that moment, the other Padawan comes back and he just forgets that that conversation has ever taken place. No, seriously. They never mention that again.
The locals say he ventured off into the forest and never came back.
He just happened to land at the right village. No doubt, in the future, she'll save him because she's got that and she'll be like, huh, good job you didn't take it off me. That's the only reason I think this was mentioned. Because otherwise, that scene had absolutely no purpose. But he's like, oh, he's in there somewhere. Good luck finding him in there, mate.
How do we find him?
We have a tracker.
Those droids, yeah, the droids which can scan for life forms, the ones they send out across planets because planets are really big. Or maybe we could get Saul to do it by finding a disturbance in the Force. No, this group has a worse plan. He pulls out a bit of fabric and go, sniff that, mate, then track him. I don't know if you're aware of this. That's not how scent works. The village said they've not seen him in a year, so he hasn't been back with the Jedi for longer than that. That fabric is over a year old and still stinks of him. This Wookiee needs to wash. Can you imagine walking into his room in the Jedi Temple? They must have had to hermetically seal that place. Because it's worse than that, as this guy sniffs it. He's like, I know where he is. Like, sorry? Sniffer dogs track people through the forest because you've just walked through the forest. That's not what the Wookiee's doing. The Wookiee has just lived in the forest for over a year and stinks so much, he's made the entire forest smell of him. At this point, the only thing that makes sense is they stationed him on this planet in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a forest, just because he stank so much no one could stand his company. You really need to be on your own. Preferably thousands of miles from civilization. The only surprising part is the stench didn't kill the trees. Maybe that's what all this smoke is. B.O. Either way, we get them walking, which I think is just meant to remind you of, like, Lord of the Ring, honestly. We're a fellowship. I genuinely think that's what they're ripping off.
no, the orcs are after us.
But she says, I can understand you're upset with this. He's like, no, I'm concerned with your safety. I'm like, hang on. You're concerned she'll be in danger, and so your way of protecting her was to remove her only method of self-defense. They really hate this guy. They've made him an idiot. But they're like, Sol will have brought you because you can talk to May. You can get through to her.
Yeah, but if I can't, you must make sure that you're willing to do what's necessary.
And she doesn't listen to me. You need to stop her. I won't be able to do it.
She means because she'll miss. And I'm like, no, it's because you're crap. You can't even use the Force, love. You studied for 11 years as a Jedi, and you can't even pull something across the room. Maybe your hair got in your eyes, I don't know.
I want you to meet a personal friend of mine, a dog called Rudy.
I can't hesitate a second time.
To be fair, you didn't hesitate. You missed twice. The problem wasn't that you waited too long to shoot, it's that you aim like a girl. But then, of course, we get some pseudo-intellectual stuff, which is meant to sound deep and meaningful.
May has always been your wound.
So, what? Which wound are we talking about?
That's how we made two of you. We cloned your vagina.
Maybe Sol brought you here to face her, but maybe he brought you here to face yourself.
I tell you what. Next, he's going to say live, laugh, love. What other sayings do depressed middle-aged women have written on their walls? Our house is clean enough to be healthy, but dirty enough to be happy. Gotta be honest, I didn't see that one coming. I laughed so hard, tears ran down my leg. Luckily, she's always got a mop handy.
We need to catch up.
Otherwise, tears are going to run down my leg.
The group now, though, is walking along trees with weird things hanging off the side of them, and none of them think, hang on, this is weird. Should we be concerned about what these bulges are on the trees? We are able to detect life as it gives off the Force. No? No.
It's a thread.
So they all just start walking along, not concerned at all. No one draws lightsabers.
He says there's something wrong here, something rotten.
And what do you expect? You're getting closer to a Wookiee who can stink out an entire forest. Of course it's going to get more rotten.
Keep up the pace. Keep down the volume.
There's something wrong. There's something dangerous. Should we do anything about it? No. Let's just keep running forwards.
Should I pull my lightsaber out so I'm ready to get attacked? No. Don't prepare.
And we don't want to know what lives out here.
You do want to know what lives out here. Oh, well, you'll know how to defend against it. Now, to anyone with even a 6 in perception, this whole thing is clearly not part of a tree and is just hanging on to the tree. You can see like the glue and the sacks and everything. You know that this isn't normal. And yet, nobody seems to know that they're not normal. Except Osha, who walks along, sees it after she's just walked past loads of them, and suddenly thinks, I'm just going to touch this random thing that I don't know if it's poisonous, but definitely isn't part of the pigging tree.
Sure.
Yeah, come along and leave it, you silly cow. Of course, after she leaves, it moves and starts to climb up the tree. It's like a snail or something. I can only assume she woke her up with the Force. I don't know why none of the other Jedi realize they're being surrounded by sleeping creatures. Either way, Osha gets even more stupid. She turns around, sees the tree, which is now different than the very thing she just touched seconds ago.
Is she gonna go, hang on, hey, everybody, something weird's gone on. The thing I've just touched has moved.
It's only because she can hear something in the sky she even realizes. But because she sees something flying in the air, she calls them back.
So!
And we see the creatures that are surrounding them. At this point, you're like, okay, they're in trouble. Those things are everywhere. This is going to be a major action scene. So it flies at them. So, like, stand back, everybody, I've got this.
I have it.
I'm not saying you don't, mate, but you're not even in front. What if that thing's not after you? What if it's going to eat her face?
Why aren't we going, you need to get behind me so I can defend you?
Luckily, it goes for him. What a coincidence. If it attacked her, we'd all be screwed. Also, I probably should point out,
It went straight for the saber.
yeah, that was lucky. Otherwise, Osha'd be dead now.
Let's move.
No one has commented that there are literally thousands of them surrounding them right now. You're expecting an action scene to kick off so they all have to defend? No, that'd be too expensive. They only have $180 million. They could only CGI one.
It'll be dark soon.
So that is the end of the scene. One thing flies at them for a second and it easily gets killed and they're like, this is so dangerous. None of the others even get activated. Of course then, because this isn't a show for men, what we have to do is talk about our feelings. No wonder Kathleen Kennedy says that women struggle in Star Wars due to the male-dominated fan base. They never have anything useful to say.
Let's talk about our feelings and cry. That'll be entertaining. The men will love that.
Whining.
I was able to sense that creature.
Yeah, so is everybody else, love. They're pissing Jedi. They give off the Force. Jedi can sense the Force. This isn't complicated. Look, I understand you've done it for 11 years and this is literally the first time you've ever experienced an ounce of talent. But for everyone else here, this is normal.
But I disturbed it, and now it's dead.
Yeah. We're still hoping that someone will disturb you.
It's always an honor to get to witness anything or anyone transform into the Force.
I'm sorry, you crazy bitch. We were walking along, saw this innocent creature. I disturbed it and then it had to die and she's like, yes, come on, get in. She's the kind of person that rips the wings off flies.
How would you look up someone's name in the phone book in Iceland?
She'll capture a spider and take out its legs one by one, going, yeah, look at it turning into the Force. She's probably got a slug farm at home just so she can pour salt on them one by one. That's a psychopath. It's always delicious to watch the life fade from their eyes. 100% Sith. And, need I remind you, the writers thought that that was a comment from good guys. They agree with that. Yeah, I'd just like to see the light fade from their eyes. You are a complete nut job. This is Dexter. I like the power that I have when they're tied to the table. I take everything back. Ezra isn't leading the Sith. She is. She's probably Darth Bane passed down through the generations.
Although you've had more experience with death than I have.
Hey, she's jealous.
You've killed more people than me. Hopefully I'll catch up one day.
Well, I could never accept death as a true Jedi should.
Accept it, she loves it. It's always an honor. When they say accept death, they mean accept death as a part of life. Because obviously if you didn't, when somebody died, if you got really upset and stuff, you might try and prevent it because you have that power, then you'd go to the dark side. So you're meant to just remain neutral on, no, it was an honor as I slashed it down with my lightsaber. It's not supposed to get your rocks off. They talk about her feelings. Oh, I had resentment for my sister, but I missed her. And this woman's probably just like, oh yeah, tell me more about your pain. Let me revel in your agony.
We're not defined by what we lose. We're defined by what we survive.
Oh, as deep as you think it is, love. Stop writing this stuff down.
I does a boat float and a stone sinks.
Seriously.
I laugh so hard, tears ran down my leg.
You've survived a lot.
Unfortunately. But the evil Sith is only about 10 minutes away from the guy's house. And May's like,
I need to fight him after this. I need a rest.
And she starts randomly talking about her master again. Killing him without a weapon isn't a test, it's a final lesson. What's the lesson? That the rules you were set were ridiculous and that you should think for yourself.
Your final lesson is when you teach yourself.
Yeah, teach yourself that you need a weapon and that taking theirs is still using a weapon.
Attacking a defenseless person goes against everything the Jedi stands for. How do you kill someone like that?
Easily, because it goes everything against they stand for. But not you. That gives you the advantage. They won't attack or defend themselves until they sense a threat, but you can jump them. You can surprise them. You can ambush them. Maybe if you stop walking up to them and go, attack me with all of your might, then you could surprise them and win.
It's impossible.
This is why it has to be him, otherwise it's bad writing. He's getting physically annoyed with it. It's impossible. It's not impossible. It's like, look, I've picked you, I've chosen you, I've trained you, and you still can't get it. You thick cow. He is way too invested for just a guy that sells poisons.
It's impossible.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible, you dumb bitch.
I want this more than anything, but it's impossible. And if I don't do it, they'll kill me.
All of this is a desperate lore dump in a very short amount of time to try and excuse what's about to happen. What's about to happen doesn't make any sense. It comes entirely out of nowhere, and this doesn't make up for it.
Going, I have to do it, otherwise he'll kill me.
You don't even care.
Nor do I, to be honest. It's probably faster to list the people who do care.
I care.
Okay, why do you care? Because you shouldn't care. You're just a bloke that sells poisons. And he says, okay, you rest, I'll go find water, you're losing your nerve, we'll work on it. And that is why you know that she's losing her nerve, because he says,
You need rest. You're losing your nerve.
So I'm glad now they've told us that verbally, we all understand.
You're losing your nerve
is literally the reason that they think explains the next bit of her behaviour. Because it turns out, haha, I'm not tired at all. Meanwhile, over with the Jedi, they've lost Basil for some reason. You could have put him on a lead if he was just going to walk off.
How are you using the word him?
It's because it's the default. That's how English language works.
What? Basil. Great. He's vanished again.
What do you mean again? If he does this all the time, how come you've never taken any measures to stop him? You really needed to put him on a lead, didn't you? Put Osha on one as well. It's the only way you're going to get a house trained.
Where we need a tracker just to track our tracker.
If you knew that, put him on a pissing lead. This isn't complicated. But at that moment, they hear screaming. Both of them hear screaming. That means he comes running back desperately.
What's happened to May?
Steps in a piece of rope and gets lifted in the air. And now I'm like, hang on, what? They just heard the screaming as well, though. They're coming here. Do you really think it's a good idea on a planet where Jedi are hunting you to start making loud noises? I wouldn't.
Help! Help!
Instead, it turns out that May has trapped him. And at this point, it's probably time for another interview.
Originally, I was supposed to be hanging by the tree.
Worth bearing in mind, originally this scene was meant to be backwards, which means everything else in the episode that happens was meant to be backwards. This has massive implications to the plot, and they said it in a cast interview that was released before the show was even launched.
After running through that forest for an extremely long time, I realized something.
Okay, so what I'm about to say next came because you walked through a forest. That's her motivation. I was a bit tired because because I was around some trees.
I don't need to do this anymore.
What? I thought you were going to say you needed to do more cardio.
You know, I was gonna go out and kill all these Jedi, but then I went for a walk.
Turns out all I needed was a nice walk through the countryside, and now I'm all better. Don't even know why I was after them in the first place.
I need to kill a Jedi without a weapon. I don't need to keep this deal. What?
She realised all that because she walked through some pissing trees. Who needs character motivation?
I want to be a Sith.
Okay, just give me 50 laps, alright? You'll be fine afterwards.
You were wrong. Osha being alive changes everything.
How? Presumably you were angry at the Jedi because of what happened to your family. The Jedi have nothing to do with Osha. You're the one that wiped Osha out.
My loyalty's to Osha.
You set her on fire. My loyalty is the person I tried to burn in a room.
Can't stop me. Yes, I can. How? I'll kill you.
What are you doing?
That's basically the audience's reaction, right? None of this makes any sense.
What I'm going to do is surrender myself to Kelnaka.
Why? You've just killed 2 of his friends. You literally went from,
I'm gonna attack him with no weapon, to, I'm gonna surrender.
because you walked past a tree.
No, stop.
He's begging her, please, make the script make any sense.
The Jedi will put you in prison.
The Jedi should do worse than that. She's killed 2 Jedi Masters.
Not after I tell them who I know.
What? You've killed 2 Jedi. You have to be punished. There has to be consequences. Now, I know she did see they let him off despite the fact that they knew he made a poison for their friend. That was stupid as well. There is no recovery from being a Sith and killing a load of people. There is no coming back. You have to be punished. You have to be put in prison. You have to have consequences. It's not like, oh, I changed my mind and now I'm good again. No.
He'll kill you.
Hopefully, that would be justice.
And I don't know if even he could make it all the way over here without a guide.
But what if he was the guide? Dun, dun, dun! If this script was possible with their roles reversed, that's the only thing that makes sense. And then at some point they're like, no, maybe the reveal will actually be more mysterious. But the Jedi follow her screaming and find...
She could have gone far.
nothing. But she's like, you wouldn't let me face me before.
You weren't ready.
But I'm ready now.
This is different.
Oh, well, that explains everything then. Not you were stronger, not you're ready now. No, this is a different planet, innit? This time we're surrounded by trees. It makes all the difference.
I've had to pull the thread. He's like, now I can sense the Force.
Yeah, but she's trained and you're an idiot. You can't just magically pick it up and suddenly defeat somebody and kill a Sith Lord, a Jedi Master. Either way.
I'm not going to face her. You're going to face your past.
This script is retarded. She's definitely going to face... As far as you know, May is evil and she's going to kill the Jedi, and you're like,
just think of your own history. Talk to her about how you used to have spice creams.
that'll stop her from being a Sith. Not as effectively as hitting her in the face with a lightsaber, though. It's like, once we capture May, I'll explain everything, but we need to trap her in the ship first. Back to May now, who finds the Wookiee's house. Now, that is a weird thing to see, and I wouldn't be surprised if when all this is revealed, that's like a sleeping flower or something, and she actually passes out at this stage. Not that we see it, though. Instead, we see the sniffer dog, who screams and alerts the Jedi to his presence. So now he's alerted, she still decides to rush the Jedi's house, only to find him sitting in a chair with a really awkward neck position. And I'm surprised she didn't go, attack me with all of your might, Hadouken! Unfortunately, he's been killed with a lightsaber previously.
He's here.
Yeah, but how did he get there first? That's actually why I think those things knocked her out, so that it would give Ezra time to get down, overtake her, and kill the Jedi before she woke up. Otherwise, the timelines doesn't work out unless he somehow force ran. Which is possible in this, because Leslye Headland doesn't even understand time and space. At that point, though, the Jedi arrive.
In the name of the Galactic Republic,
give me a full English breakfast with extra black pudding.
But he's like, anyone inside needs to come out, and that includes you, May.
He did have the best caveat, though.
should come out with your hands where we can see them.
How's that gonna help? She's a Sith. I know you're trying to make them space cops, but doesn't work. Even if she came out with her hands where you can see them, she's magic. She could attack you with her hands. The problem is, just as she's considering what to do. And at this point, I'm kind of wondering why she's considering what to do. She already said she was going to surrender. Now is the perfect opportunity. They're asking you to surrender. Even if you think, oh, they'll think I killed the Wookiee, what's the problem? Genuinely did already kill 2 of them. 1 more? It's not really going to make that much difference to how they treat you, is it?
It's always an honor to get to witness anything or anyone transform into the Force.
But Sol senses something. And in the background, we see a farce.
Oh, he's over her shoulder.
This is why I hate wire work. I mentioned it in the first fight. If you're going to do a force jump, it should be force jump, not floating with wires. One of the issues is if you get used to wires counteracting gravity, you quickly come to the decision that, well, they can fly.
Oh no, he just descended slowly.
Yes, against gravity. It wasn't a powerful jump. The guy can fly. Rather than calling out and going, that's a Sith Lord behind you. Instead, he just turns around and everybody else follows him. No one goes, oh shit, there's a Sith Lord behind you. Instead, she has to realise, simply because of how they're all staring at her. This is like if you're bad-mouthing your boss and then suddenly everyone in front of you shuts up and starts looking over your shoulder and you're like, oh no, he's behind me, isn't he? But you only realise after they've stood there and let you talk for the last 30 seconds about him.
What is that?
Shut up, you bigot. It's what is they. Thank you very much. I'm a tree! Oh, sorry, I got confused. It was a different Flash actor that was the tree. But once you know it's possible, it does explain how he can blend in so well.
Identify yourself.
I'm a Sith Lord? How come you're so slow?
Stand down!
He hasn't done anything. He's just walked up to you. I'm just like, okay, all the time he's very slowly walked up to me. Why am I not very slowly walking backwards? This is just like with the flying insect. She's always up front and can't do anything, while all the Jedi who can are behind her. I do kind of appreciate that she's a sacrificial lamb, no one cares about her attitude. Just send her in first. We'll find out if it's dangerous when she's been in there. I'm just not sure that's what the show's going for. He activates his lightsaber, though. He evaded, and then they pull all theirs, and at this point you're like, okay, this is gonna be a good fight. And then I was pissed. There's like 8 of them, and admittedly, her flying out the way, very funny. But then to do it to 8 Jedi, we're like, what? No way. Didn't even struggle and is that powerful? Get lost. So I ended this episode extremely pissed off just because of the fight at the end. I'm like, what? If anything, he should have pushed him and the Masters should have just stayed there. Even if they struggled, whatever. But not just having everyone go, oh no, I'm crap at this. And then you have the rest of the story. I think given the interview, we can basically confirm it's Ezra. If it turns out to be one of her mothers, it's pathetic writing due to the sheer amount of clues they put into this episode. But also suddenly going, oh, May's not evil now because she's decided she's not for absolutely no reason whatsoever. No, they won't punish me despite the fact I've killed their friends. You're like, sorry? I'm not even sure that this script was written by a human. Certainly not written by someone with a moral compass. Although, remember, she did say...
Leslye is Sith.
Yeah, I'm dark-sided.
Clearly.
I've always been dark-sided.
All Sith here.
Which would make sense. She seems to have no idea about how Jedi and Sith should behave, or what is good and evil, or even the concept of justice and punishment. This whole idea of Sith can just go, I'm a good guy now, and they are has always been stupid. But they tend to get around it because the guy dies first. This doesn't work when you've got a Sith going, no, they won't even arrest me as long as I tell them all the stuff I know about being a Sith. That's not how that works. And so besides things like the terrible scripts, the useless pandering, and the collection of tick boxes who don't seem to actually bring anything to the episode at all, none of them can act. I think the biggest problem with this episode is they never hired a human to do the humaning for them. And I think there's one thing we've learned about Hollywood is they can't do moral stories because they don't have any morals. The grand total of this episode are a load of Jedi got on a plane and flew to a planet, only to find out the much hyped Wookiee who even appeared in a flashback isn't going to do anything. The one thing Leslye Headland, ironically, seems to be good at is the anti-climax. Maybe that's because just like in her previous career, she always left that to somebody else. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.